Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody is not aware of this, this is a journey of investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you an interesting update for MMTLP, and then we're going to be looking at ThreeD Capital, also known as IDKFF, and this can be described as an ETF for disruptive technology, precious metals, and also small caps. So stay tuned for that. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, we can see here news shared yesterday in the Discord was with regard to inflation. So there was good news, and we saw that yesterday the Dow Jones was up 500 points at pre-market time. Then the positive news was with regard to CPI data, and this was good news. The S&P 500 was up over 1.49%. However, this has not continued today. So we can see right now from CNBC, the Dow Jones has now dropped 400 points at time of editing. The S&P 500 is getting close to correction territory, and this is in response to more threats of tariffs from Trump. So not great news there for the markets. And in terms of the Nasdaq 100 QQQ, this has now dropped by more than 1% in intraday for 16 trading days in a row. So not great there as well. And in other news, also potentially from the Trump government, and that is we can see here Representative Mike Collins has stated there could be no taxes for people who make less than $150,000 per year, and that could be something they believe is going to be positive for the economy. So let's now move on to have a look at the news I want to share with you with regard to an interesting update for MMTLP. So there was a post that I shared earlier, and this was a follow from Mr. John Cena. That's right, you have heard. So Mr. John Cena, for those of you, I'm sure all of you will know that he's a 16 times world champion, New York Times best-selling author, and he has followed me on X. But what's also interesting is there a reason for this follow? So I have reached out to him and I've asked him if he would like to join us on the show, or also on a potential space call to share our story. And I think one of the reasons why I would like to do that is I believe he has also followed a number of also prominent MMTLP investors, including Liz, who stated he started following me as well. She's checked with a few other community members, and he could be an MMTLP or MMAT investor. So let's see how this progresses. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to welcome back Sheldon from ThreeD Capital. We also have Jackson from ThreeD Capital, one of the directors as well. And go ahead and check out my previous video where we looked at ThreeD Capital, some of the key catalysts and the sectors they are involved in. So this is really an update video from there. We're going to look at key sectors that the company are involved in, the key updates, catalysts, and where they envision themselves going forward in the future. So I'm going to start by having a quick reminder in terms of the company. So before we get started, let's have a quick recap of ThreeD Capital. So if we just get to the website. So as a reminder, so if we go to the main page, we can see obviously it's trading on the CSE under IDK and also on the OTC under IDKFF. So it is available for American investors to invest in. We also have QIMC, which we'll go into later on as well. But basically, I think a great description for ThreeD Capital is like an ETF for ground floor investment. So they're involved in small cap stocks, disruptive technology, junior resources, hydrogen energy, and I think AI is also a big part of what they do. So let's get back to Sheldon, and let me just get back 1 second. Problem with them. Okay, so right, let's get back to Sheldon. So Sheldon, thank you for joining us back again. So obviously from a personal point of view, I know you have an excellent track record in investing, especially in Canada, and this is exemplary we've seen from the 3D team. And last time we talked about, in particular, QIMC, Todak, hydrogen energy. We also talked about biotech. So in terms of where we are right now, what would you like to share in terms of the latest developments from our previous conversation and how things are going right now?
Yeah, so thanks for having me again. Hello, everybody. Um, Probably coming to the top of the list is I mentioned TotaQ last time,
Yeah.
micropayments. They are now launching literally today
Oh, excellent. Fantastic.
um, with one of their first major applications of using micropayments for the content movie industry, for streamers, people that buy or rent all kinds of content, whether it be movies, documentaries, music, whatever.
Yeah.
And TotaQ is able to provide for fractionalized payments with basically almost zero cost per transaction. So there's no friction.
Yes.
They have Oracle and Google as their partners, as well
Yes.
as two
Talked about
two
that
major
last time.
Canadian families. Families banks,
Yes.
CIBC and RBC. So they're basically their financial on-ramp, off-ramp partners. So
Mm.
we believe this could be a killer app. What's very unique about the micropayments that wasn't part of the original thinking was because of the lack of friction and cost in the transaction side. When there's a movie, there's a lot of people who are involved, say, in putting together that film or that documentary or whatever it is. And typically, they get paid points, royalties, percentages of the revenue. And typically, it's kind of small when you look at it on a per use basis. But that means that the company, the movie studios say that accumulate all the capital. They have to wait till it's substantial. Then it basically takes someone 9 months to a year to get the money that they're owed
Mm.
because of TotaQ's, frictionless basis of distribution, they can pay everybody out instantaneously. So if 20 people rent a movie that day
Mm.
and you are the one that participated in producing that content, and maybe it's $1.50
Mm.
that you're entitled to if someone rents 10 movies or a number of
Yes.
people,
Yes.
you get that money instantaneously that day. So
Wow.
it's become now hugely a popular desire and
Mm.
economic
Yeah.
enhanced situation for all those contributors to the content. Plus, if you think about it, how much is invested by movie studios or any other company in the accounts payable area, where you got to hire people and then
Yes.
the
Yes.
costs and timing and so forth. So it's an unintended positive consequence that not only can you not need to pay a subscription, you can actually just buy the content using TOTA, we call the TAP,
Yes.
TAPP.
Yes.
But the people involved, everybody involved gets paid out instantaneously. So we believe this is going to be extremely robust. We believe that we could be the payments rail of choice,
Mm.
and could be a real player. So that's only the first application for TotaQ,
Yeah.
but it's really grabbing traction.
Okay. I think what I'd like to do is have a look at the TodaQ website. So let's go ahead and have a look at this and see for ourselves in terms of
And Jack, I don't know if you want to add anything to what I said.
yeah, yeah, sure. You can whilst I'm getting onto the website, Jack, if you could
Yeah,
get
no, I think you hit on kind of all of the main points. I mean, really, this is a new payment rail, a new way of doing
yeah,
business. I think is going to just disrupt a lot of businesses. I mean, you
yes,
know, the entertainment industry is going to be obviously the first low-hanging fruit that's going to be disrupted, which is, a very archaic way of doing business currently for payments. But
yeah,
I think there are going to be many, many different applications from beyond just movies and shows, from articles to games to
mm,
basically education and any industry you can think of.
yeah.
That has to deal with legacy banking systems.
Okay, excellent. I'm just trying to find the total queue. Do you remember where the link was, Sheldon, on here? I'm on the, is it under investors or is it under areas of interest?
I would have to double check. I think it's on the investment highlights page, which
Investment
if you go
high.
under investors
Okay,
and
we go.
investment
Ah,
highlights.
yes, yes, you're right. Okay, total queue. So here we go. Let's have a look at, so just get the website. So as you said, yeah, we're looking at one tap. You pay, you get access. We're looking at micropayments. You can join instantly, no registration, login or subscription. So very, very easily. And obviously we're looking at earnings. So these are the key benefits. It's portable, faster cash cycle. You can add revenue, removes transaction fees. And I think last time we also talked about the safety and obviously the low risk in terms of fraud from this. That's one of the key USPs for this.
Right.
And I can see here there's also obviously an AI, sorry, aspect to this. It's trademarked, so it's looking really, really good. Yeah, very attractive. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. I think the other company that we looked at was QIMC in the previous video. So there was news that was shared in I think was it yesterday or a couple of days ago. So let's have a look at the news for QIMC. So if you can maybe share some updates on this as well. So if we have a look at here. So March the 12th, 2025, from Yahoo Finance, Quebec Innovative Materials and Blacktree Energy have signed a strategic MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding to advance natural hydrogen exploration and development with a focus on US expansion. So obviously, I know obviously the amount of hydrogen the company have is quite significant. So this hopefully should be able to drive them into larger scale. So what else could you share with me about this potential agreement, Sheldon?
Well, we don't really know much about it, to tell you
Okay.
the truth, but it's understand it's a non-binding, basically partnership to look at other markets.
Yeah.
So I don't consider that a material announcement, but the bottom line is the company has to drill,
Mm.
and I don't think it's going to drill till the summer.
Mm.
So that's when I think the next milestone, one way or the other, will
Yeah.
occur.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of the current projects, which one out of all of them are the one that you're probably most excited about right now in terms of the near term?
Um, we're very excited about Avacana.
Yeah.
Avacana is a medical cannabis company, and I believe
Ah, yeah.
is perhaps going to become the largest in the space of all the companies. They just did a deal with Philip Morris out of Switzerland,
Mm.
where Philip Morris is trying to diversify away from uh, smoking, nicotine, and they're going to inhalers. And I think one of the big things that they're looking at is inhaling CBD and THC
Mm.
in a non threatening way in terms of your health.
Yeah.
And we believe the company is substantially undervalued,
Yeah.
because basically it's doing almost $7 million a quarter now and breaking even,
Wow.
and it's trading at literally one times revenue. So
Yeah.
with a number of things in their pipeline, which they've talked about, whether it be on the drug side and just the distribution, in Canada, and they're expanding to other markets outside Canada. So we think Avacana
Yeah.
is gonna have a really good year.
Yeah, I think what's interesting there, you did mention the market conditions now. So obviously market conditions are extremely difficult right now, especially with what's happening in the United States. So in terms of the current valuation of 3D, from my point of view, I think this is significantly undervalued. Penny stocks have been hit quite hard. Not
Yep.
only the penny stocks, I think the major blue chip companies as well. We've seen the fall in Tesla from Nvidia. So, what's your take on that right now? Would you think that right now is potentially a good time to invest, potentially wait a little bit? And how do you see these market conditions going and the impact on 3D?
Well, first thing is tariffs always bring uncertainty.
Yep.
It penalizes both sides once you have a
Yes,
tariff war. History has not been kind to tariff wars in terms of economies
I
because
agree.
it's
Yeah.
sort of like mutual destruction.
Yep.
Um, whether some of these tariffs end up getting equalized where one part, has country has been, providing higher tariffs than its counterpart, maybe those have to be equalized. Maybe that's the end game here of what Trump is trying to accomplish.
Yep.
Um, as for penny stocks, I think that, that's more psychological where they trade in the short run. And, people don't like uncertainty.
No,
So when,
no.
you have people that want to sell, I think it's always the best time to buy. So
Yeah.
I'm actually quite positive on the penny stock arena.
Yeah.
And I think the greatest values are garnered there.
Yeah.
And, certainly with 3D, boy, the number of irons we have in the fire,
Yeah.
I think that on a risk return basis, I would bias it entirely to the upside.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And I think just to add on to what you said about the tariffs, I think the other thing that the markets do not like about tariffs is they are inflationary and every country will obviously respond and retaliate, which is exactly what is happening right now. So it does defeat the object. So it reduces the consumer choice. It puts more pressure on the consumers. So in the end, nobody is really a winner. So look, we have to see how this plays out. In terms of the tariffs, do you see any direct impacts on that with the Canadian side of things?
Well, there are impacts, but I don't think it's going to impact our company.
Yep.
But of course, it's going to impact energy, aluminum, steel, all these things,
Yes, yes.
dairy products in Canada, and so
Yeah.
forth. So
And what
there's
about
going
the
to be
hydrogen?
impact,
Yeah,
but not spaces that we're involved in.
okay. All right, excellent. So let's have a look at go back to the website, and I think what I'd like to do is now have a look at the key sectors. So if we go back to the these sectors. So we have obviously we have the stock trading there, and we had the accounts recently.
So it's on the homepage.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Homepage, areas of interest. Yep. Okay, so we have blockchain here. We have AI machine learning. I think there's probably some more updates there. The internet, biotech we talked about last time. And I think one of the things I remember there was I mentioned in the introductions, you were involved in Neurable. So I think I'm not sure if that was in the bio
Yep.
sector. Let's have a look in here. So you're involved in longevity, oncology. 6.96 billion was raised in funding across 96 funding rounds 2022. So the latest news here, March 5th, 2025, you've announced also private placement funding, sorry, financing there. So biotech area. So give us an update in terms of the Neurable side of things here.
Jack, you want to address that, please?
Sure. Yeah, happy to. So I mean, they're in the process of commercializing now. I mean, they've started the commercialization process. They're closing another strategic financing shortly, basically for growth capital. So they've shipped out headphones for consumers. I've received it. I've been using it and playing around with it, and it's been extremely fun and insightful. Where
Yeah.
you can just as an initial application understand your focus better, realize, when you should be taking breaks. It can measure all this through your EEG non-invasively through basically any headphone manufacturer in the world. They're currently partnered with a major headphone OEM called Master and Dynamics, which they've been able to really upsell the number of devices for Master and Dynamics by adding in this feature. So I think there's going to be a whole app store of different neurable, like I'll call them games, where or features features where things can be done just through thinking alone, whether that's texting, whether that's changing music, whether that's telling you when you should be taking a break due to cognitive decline, being able to understand, from Alzheimer's and dementia, being able to measure kind of brain age and things like that. I think the possibilities are endless, and they're taking this kind of one step at a time, but they're moving very quickly. So very excited to kind of watch this grow. There's been a lot of very strategic money come into this. It's out of Boston, VC backed. The founders, from Harvard, and this is all out of Harvard, MIT. Very top tech. I believe they're the most advanced EEG signal processor in the world, and it's all using AI to basically be able to clean up that signal.
Excellent. So again, just to highlight, by investing in 3D Capital, investors can also then choose to invest in Neurable. So obviously, it's a direct investment in there. So it's an opportunity to get into these kind of companies and make your investment and potentially benefit from the growth via the commercialization.
Yeah, Neurable's private, so by investing in us, you get exposure to these companies that you never really would ever even see or be able to
Mm.
usually be able to get access to.
Yeah.
So it really provides that exposure.
That's right. And I've been covering another similar ticker. It's I'm sure you're aware of it, ticker symbol DXYZ. That's quite a similar one. It has, I think it's going to have over 100 private companies, but and the share price for that went from around about $10 to $70. So it did 7x. It's come back down right now in the market conditions. But I do see you as more similar to that. The key benefit they have is obviously the backing of Elon Musk and the SpaceX. But I think some of the sectors 3D are involved in as just as exciting, but maybe not the same exposure as DXYZ. So I think once we get these catalysts and certainly more of them driving the revenue, I think certainly I do agree with you that the potential for the future is huge, and it is a tremendous opportunity for people to come in and invest right now. And I think one of the things that I'd like to remind everybody, previous interview that we had with Sheldon, in terms of your track record, Sheldon, you have driven penny stocks and you did have exits, and these exits were at significant, obviously, profit. Can you remind us again in terms of your track record of driving the companies forward, getting the value for the investors, and obviously benefiting from that?
Yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot of them that we've gotten involved in. For example, even Pine Tree Capital, which we started at 10 cents and basically exited at $26. And 3D is basically a Pine Tree Capital 2.0. And I think that people, if they look at the price of the stock today and then they look at it, say, January 1st, 2026, I think they'll see a beginning of a similar move.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so another thing that Hector spoke to me about in terms of the company, he said to obviously ask you about the insider buying, insider selling. Obviously, there has been significant insider buys. There's also been some recent sells, and we just to get your thoughts on what were the reason for these, and do you anticipate any share buybacks and more insider buying going forward?
Yeah, I would just say let's look forward to more buying,
Mm.
both potentially insider as well as issuer buyback.
Yeah, certainly. And then the other thing I'd like to have a look at is in terms of the near-term future. If we look forward for the next 3 to 5 years, where do you envision 3D Capital, let's say in 3 years and in 5 years? I'm sure you're looking at obviously significant changes to happen within that period and significant growth as well.
Yeah, I would, 3 to 5 years is a lifetime. I think we're looking for this year
Oh,
to
wow.
see
Wow. Wow.
substantial
2025,
growth
yeah.
on projects that we've been working on for, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Um, and they're all coming into maturity. We can't predict the day. For example, TotaQ, I
Yeah.
mentioned, we thought it was going to maybe get going last summer, but they found these new opportunities and pivoted away. So you never know, but I would say the coming months are going to be quite interesting for the company.
Okay, excellent. And the other thing I said, obviously, at the beginning of our introduction is Hector also shared information with regard to a lawsuit. He said there was a huge payout. I'm not sure if that is something related to the company or if that's something just for yourself in another side of things, because I didn't see any details. So is there anything you'd like to share about this significant victory in a lawsuit that you were involved in?
Yeah, we commenced a lawsuit against Newfound Gold and we settled last year.
Okay, excellent. So uh, that sounds good. And let's now move back over to the company. I think one of the other areas I want to look at again from the market sectors. If we have go back there, and if we so we've had a look at the Todec. We've got the accounts there. I've had a look at that. So in terms of the accounts, I had a quick look at your financial accounts. So the latest one, September 30th, 2024. So obviously, I don't think I saw any significant changes there. However, let's get back to the areas of interest. So we have biotech, blockchain. Obviously, if we go into the blockchain side of things, which we haven't really talked to about too much, but obviously this is an area that is in terms of crypto right now that is getting a huge buzz in the media, especially with Trump. And we have the new ETF as well. So obviously the benefit here is we can see no financial oversight, no middlemen or third parties, data integrity, and no network record. So this is obviously all linked with Todak. So in terms of the crypto side of things, I think this is something that I think is good to emphasize, especially for the viewers, because crypto, we do get people who invest huge amounts in this, and any aspect of that would certainly be very attractive as well. Mm.
Um, I would just say stay tuned for some announcements.
Okay, excellent. And last time we also talked about you shared details of the Oracle contract, and that was announced. How what's the progress, and how is everything going in terms of Oracle so far, and 3D? With there was I think a partnership you announced there in the previous interview that we had.
With TodaQ,
I think, yeah, was it with TodaQ and Oracle?
yeah, I think I should have covered that at the beginning. That TodaQ is launching and Oracle's one of their partners.
Okay, excellent. So I think finally, I think I'm more or less covered most of the things. So is there anything else that you would like to share in terms of the company going forward, catalysts? Obviously, the investors may need to be aware of. I know you're saying that 2025 is going to be a huge year. You do see a breakthrough, and I think in terms of what we're seeing now, I think right now the key concern would probably be the market conditions. Once we ride these and things, we get more stability. I think certainly that would be the time for the investments to see the fruit that they need to bear, of course. So, yeah, what are your final thoughts, Sheldon, on 3D Capital, and anything else you would like to share with the viewers?
Yeah, I just think that there have been delays in some of our companies executing,
Yeah,
but I think those are largely behind us, and that in the coming months, I think that people are going to start to realize that we have a number of strategic investments that are going to become significant companies, and the only way to participate in many cases will be through 3D,
yeah,
and that with the markets and so forth, I think we've been overly punished. I
yeah.
think we've hit rock bottom, and just stay tuned. I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. And finally, a reminder, obviously, we're looking at Tiximo IDKFF, trading on the OTC, and we also have on the CSE IDK and obviously QIMC as well. So again, thank you for joining me, Sheldon, and providing the updates there, which I think certainly very promising. And hopefully we will be able to catch up soon. And thanks again for joining me.
Okay, well, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Take
Look
care.
forward to next time.
Yep. Take care. Thank you. And Jackson as well. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.